So have you ever just felt like you can never trust a weather forecast? That's what today's video is going to be about. This past weekend, I had to pull out my watering gear again because my front yard and the new grass that I seeded was already getting dry and it was showing a little bit of signs of being stressed. So I knew that I was going to be forced to do some watering again. I couldn't let that grass get too dry or too stressed. It's just too much work to let that happen. So I was hoping that I could trust the weather forecasters this week, but of course, it seems like you never can. I don't want to go on too big of a rant about that, but let me just say that I don't trust a weather forecast pretty much at any time. So here's what happened. So it's been super dry for the last couple weeks here, and that's kind of typical. It gets a little bit drier during the fall, but the only thing is we usually get enough rain to where it's not a problem because there's not a lot of heat to take all that moisture out of the ground. But lately we haven't been getting any of that rain, and the lawn was starting to look like the end of summer look where things are getting a little bit dried out. All the grass is starting to kind of wilt over a little bit. So today what we're going to do is, since I can't trust that weather forecast, and even though we got some thunder and lightning last night, and we got a little bit less than 1/10 of an inch of rain, which is not enough, I'm going to take advantage of this super dreary day today that's happening right now, and we're going to finish watering the rest of the yard. So the front yard and the side yard are okay now. The backyard needs some more water. I'm going to pull out my above ground system that I've been using and try to set that up in the backyard and see if I can get it to work kind of as a test for next year as well. I set it up in the front yard this weekend as a test and it worked really well, so let's try it in this backyard here and see what it looks like. Alright, and that's pretty much it for this update. What I do now is I just let those sprinklers run for a little bit. These are supposed to put out about 0.44 inches of rain per hour, so they're a little bit slower than some of the traditional like rainbirds or something like that. But the thing about them is that it's supposed to let the water kind of seep into the ground a little bit slower, so that's supposed to help the water intake. And so far from what I can see where I've used them previously in my seeding and then this last weekend, they do a really good job of getting good coverage. Now also on these, because of the way mine is set up above ground and it's not completely spaced out perfectly, I think I'm getting a little bit more overlap in between, so I'm probably getting a little bit more coverage per hour than the 0.44. So I haven't measured it exactly. I need to do a little bit of a test on that, put out a can or something to see how fast it's filling up. But for right now, that's what I do. I just set them, let them run for a little while, and then of course I'm not getting a full coverage on my whole yard in one step, so I have to move them about halfway and to get the rest of the yard covered. So that's what I do. Thank you guys once again for checking out the video, and we'll see you next time.